2023 was a great year for cinema, and I just couldn't pick 10 movies or 20 movies. This is my top 50 favorite movies of 2023. This is a bit of a cheat list. I waited till towards the end of January to make my list because there was a couple of movies that I wanted to catch up on. So this is my definite top 50 movies of 2023. There's still a few movies I didn't get to see, but I have to stop. So this I'm gonna stop now, and this is my definite top 50 of 2023. And now these are movies that were released in their original country in 2023, or they had a festival debut in 2023. So some of these films have not been released at a general release yet. So hopefully most of these films will either be on at the cinema or video on demand or on streaming sometime in 2024. Okay, let's jump in at number 50. Number 50 is Maestro, directed by Bradley Cooper. Now, this is a very divisive film. This definitely a flawed film. It's not a perfect movie, but I think the acting is so good by Cooper and Mulligan that it rises above the flaws that this film has. I really liked some of the directorial touches that Cooper brings, and the performances maybe the best out of the top 50 movies, some of the best out of top 50 movies I've seen this year. I definitely recommend check it out, Maestro. Now let's get on to number 49. 49 was Fallen Leaves, directed by Aki Kaurismäki. I don't know how to say that. It debuted at the Caine Film Festival. This is a very typical of this director. It's a low key a relationship movie. It's quite droll and funny, but also quite serious, and the characters are very well drawn out. It's a short movie, but the characters are well drawn out and interesting and amusing. There's a lot of amusing side characters as well. I really loved Fallen Leaves. Number 48 was Blackberry, directed by Matt Johnson. This one I came a little bit late to. I didn't see until towards the end of the year. This one debuted at the Berlin Film Festival. Before I saw it on the program, I thought Blackberry. It sounds like just another social network rip-off. And then the reviews came out, and the reactions came out, and then one of the best movies of the year. Some performances were raved about, and so I finally checked it out a few months ago, and it's fantastic. It's a compelling, great story, excellent performances. It's a very rewarding film. Blackberry. Number 47, we're up to 40, 50, 49, 47. Blackberry. Debuted at the Cannes Film Festival. It's from a little movie from Georgia. It's about a woman who is in her mid 40s. Her parents have passed away. She's living by herself. She has a small shop. Her friends and family make fun of her because she's not married. She doesn't have kids, and you just follow her journey. It's one of those movies that, okay, this is good, but then the ending, like the last 10 minutes of the movie, just elevates the movie to from good to excellent. So it's one of those movies that doesn't really come together until the end. But hopefully you can check this out. Film it's a small gem, but I definitely recommend checking out Blackberry. Number 46 is Explanation for Everything. I think he's debuted at the Venice Film Festival, out of competition, but directed by Gabor Rees. It's set in Budapest. It's about a student who creates a stir in his school, and it's a very specific situation to that country. It's but I love the journey that the story goes, and it has a lot of commentary on society in that country, and it's quite funny at times. Uh, yeah, definitely check out Explanation for Everything. Number 45 is Here, directed by Baz de Vos. I think it debuted at the Berlin Film Festival. This is a quiet movie, a short movie, under just over 18 minutes. It's about a immigrant who lives in Brussels, and a Chinese Belgian lady who she's a research scientist. And they meet in the forest and they form a connection, and then they separate for some part of the movie, and then you follow that journey. It's very quiet. It's very real relationship. The dialogue and the situations is so real. It's such a quiet movie. I definitely recommend checking out Here by Baz Devos. We go up to number 44. Number 44 was Leave the World Behind by Sam Esmail, which debuted on Netflix a few months ago. I saw this film at cinemas a few weeks before it debuted on Netflix, and I had no idea what to expect from this movie. I had no information. I just had a plot. The plot point was this family with Julia Roberts and Ethan Hawke. They take their kids to a getaway on off New York, and then that's all I knew. So I went to the cinema and I sat down, and I think cinema was empty. I think maybe I was the only person in the cinema. I think watched it in the morning, and yeah, I was entranced by this film. I did have no idea where it was going to go. You can't think about this movie too much. I understand it. I know this movie has been very divisive once it debuted on Netflix. But if you don't think about it too much, if you just go with it, if you don't know anything about it, then it's a wild journey. I love some of it has about 5 or 6 set pieces that are like just wild. It felt like a M Night Shyamalan movie, but if you like a higher budget and a better cast. It's a while. If you haven't checked it out, I think most people have already have. But if you haven't checked out Leave the World Behind, I definitely recommend that movie. I think we're up to number 43. Number 43, another Netflix movie, Society of the Snow. This story has been done before in documentaries and in a feature American movie back in the early 90s. But this film takes that story and adds a realism to it. It's such a well-made movie. The plane crash and the scenes inside the plane is so realistic and so well done. The cast, like it's all authentic cast. The haircuts and the makeup, everything just feels so real. And there's parts of the story I didn't know about. It's extremely emotional and interesting story. Society of the Snow. What are we up to now? 50, 40, I think we're up to number 42. The Taste of Things, directed by the Vietnamese French director Tran Anh Han. It debuted at the Caine Film Festival. Stars Juliette Binoche and another actor that I've only just become familiar with, Benoit Magimel. I've seen him in a few movies like Pacifiction a few years ago. This movie is a beautiful movie about food. Don't watch this movie if you're feeling hungry. The first 20 minutes is just preparing. Like it's set in I think early 20th century, before electricity, before technology. So you can see them cooking amazing food, but they're cooking it naturally with fire and basic kitchen equipment. But it's amazing, and the people, everybody in the movie just loves food, and you can see the enjoyment of food on their face, and they're excited talking about food and eating food and excited about the food they're going to eat in the future. It's a beautiful movie about relationships and food. Definitely recommend checking out The Taste of Things when it comes out later this year. Next is, I've lost the count of the numbers, so I'm just gonna go next. Next is Dogman, directed by Luc Besson. I think this debuted in competition at the Venice Film Festival. It just came out on Blu-ray and video on demand in France, so definitely check it out if you can. This is a wild story. Like Luc Besson, he always does wild movies, but this one is about a guy who I think is in a wheelchair. He loves dogs. He has many dogs, and he uses those dogs in situations to um, create to fix his problems in the movie. So he's kind of, and people hire him to use those dogs to fix their situations. So it's a wild movie. It delves into his childhood and it switches times throughout the movie. I definitely recommend checking out Dogman by Luc Besson. Next we have Inshallah Boy, directed by Amjad R. Rashid. This one also debuted at the Caine Film Festival. This one is a quiet movie about the struggles women face um, in Jordan. It's about a widow who the widow pretends to be pregnant with a son in order to save her daughter and home for a relative exploiting. So I think her uncle in the film is trying to take her home from her because her husband has passed away, so recently passed away. So she stalls the process in order to keep the home, and it's fascinating and many commentary on women in society. I really loved Inshallah Boy. Recommend checking it out. Next is Animal, directed by Sophia Ekshashur. I think it debuted at the Locarno Film Festival. This is a film that puts a spotlight on a specific community in Greece. There's an area of Greece where near the ocean where tourists go, and it focuses on the people who work there. So people, it's a kind of a seasonal thing where okay, every summer they go to this location and then they work in this area. Usually they do it every year. So some of these people will be doing it for 5, 10, 20 years, and it focuses on one woman who's been doing it for maybe 15 years, and she's a bit over it, and it's extremely fascinating. All the characters are all great, and I definitely recommend checking out Animal by Sophia Ekshashur. Next is Margaret's Theorem. It's a French movie that debuted at the Cannes Film Festival, directed by Anna Novion. Now, this one was not very well received by the critics, but it's gained a little bit of a cult following. Letterboxd 3.4 score. It's about a university student. She's has a like kind of like a good hunting maths brain. She's on the cusp of discovering new discoveries, and the actress who Ella Rumpf, who plays the lead actress, she's fantastic. She creates a unique character. I was really on her journey. I'm glad this film has started to pick up a cult following. I really loved it. I definitely recommend checking out Margaret's Theorem. Next is Blaga's Lesson, directed by Stefan Komandarev. Now this is, I think there's been a few lately of films of older people getting scammed or tricked by on the phone or on the internet by in order to get money. So they call them, pretend to be somebody, and then give me money, And this is another one of those movies, but this treats it deadly serious. It's about a grandmother. She receives a call, and if you don't give us the money, we're gonna kill you, and then you have to throw the money outside the window onto the out past the balcony, and then she does that, and then she ends up getting embarrassed because people find out that she was a scammer, so she ends up becoming one of the scammers, and then that's all I'll say. But it's a very riveting, suspenseful journey. I definitely recommend checking out Lager's Lessons. It has a great lead performance by Eli Shiva. Okay, next is Kokomo City, a documentary. I think it debuted at the Sundance Film Festival, directed by D. Smith. It follows four black transgender sex workers in at Atlanta and New York. It just interviews them and shows them some of the clients they interact with. It's extremely interesting. The four ladies are very charismatic, interesting, and it's raw and emotional, and yeah, it's just a short movie, just 73 minutes long, but it's a fantastic documentary, one of the best documentaries of 2023. Next is Magazine Dreams, that also debuted at the 2023 Sundance Film Festival, directed by Elijah Bynum, starring the bad man at the moment, Jonathan Majors. This definitely, if Jonathan Majors didn't have such legal problems last year, then definitely this would have been in the award consideration, especially for best actor. His performance is amazing. It's an in performance, but very much a physical performance. It's about a aspiring bodybuilder who he wants to be the best bodybuilder in the world, and he's just obsessed with it. His whole life is just bodybuilding. He works in a supermarket part-time just for money, I guess. He lives with his father, who's sick, and he looks after his sick father. He starts to started dating one of his co-workers at the supermarket, played by Haley Bennett. Yeah, the performances are tremendous in this movie, and I was so entranced by his performance and his journey. Hopefully it gets picked up by another distributor this year, so you can check out Magazine Dreams. Next is Cobweb, that debuted at the Caine Film Festival, directed by Kim Ji-woon. This is a behind the scenes of making a movie. The movie they're making is a very campy horror thriller movie, and because it's so campy, it's one of the funniest movies. May actually be the funniest movie I saw in 2023. I saw it in a theater, a sold out theater at a festival, and everybody was laughing. The experience of seeing it in a sold out theater was excellent. The way it's put together, the performances, the way it's put together, the movie in the movie is filmed in black and white, but the behind the scenes is filmed in color, and it's just chaotic, and everybody's shouting and arguing, and there's people are drunk, and it's just hilarious. I definitely recommend checking out Cobweb. Next is Stephen Curry, Underrated, a documentary that debuted at the Sundance Film Festival, directed by Peter Nix. Okay, I'm a big fan of basketball, so that's one of the reasons probably why this is in my list, but I think this is an excellent documentary. You find someone one of the best basketball players of all time, but it manages to create suspense and an underdog story, and it's so much information that I didn't know about, and it follows his life in many parts of his life. Yeah, I highly recommend checking out Stephen Curry, Underrated. I think it's on Apple, I think. Next is Still, a Michael Fox movie, another documentary. I think this one also debuted at the Sundance Film Festival. This is an excellent documentary that I grew up watching Michael J. Fox on TV, on movies, Back to the Future, and this shows his life before he had Alzheimer's, and now it shows his daily struggles. It's so personal, it's raw, it's everything you want in a documentary. It's one of the best documentaries of the year. Still a Michael J. Fox movie. directed by Davis Guggenheim. Next is May December, that debuted at the Cannes Film Festival and just recently streaming on Netflix, directed by Todd Haynes. I think everybody knows about this movie now. Natalie Portman, Julianne Moore, the performances are amazing. Charles Milton as well. I just love the camp. I love the music and the camp. It's serious and funny, and the situations that everybody gets put in as just both risque and funny at the same time. All the actors and characters are all will join out. It's a very fascinating story that it raises many questions. Next is The Iron Claw. This is one of the movies that I cheated on that I just saw a few weeks ago. So I really wanted to see this movie before I compiled my top 50 list. Directed by Sean Durkin. It's about the wrestling Von Erich family in the early 80s. It's a tragic, sad movie. It's not an easy movie to watch. I understand why the director decided to erase some of the details, because otherwise it's just too much. It's the performances are amazing, especially Zac Efron. His best performance, such a physical performance, and even though it's a physical performance, his face and his expression, definitely I recommend checking out The Iron Claw. Next is Limbo, directed by Giorgi Diritti. I think this was in competition at the Venice Film Festival. Think I seem to be the only one who really loved this movie. It wasn't really well received by critics or audiences, but this is almost 3 hours long. It stars Franz Rogowski, one of my favorite actors at the moment. It's about a community of gypsies. The gypsies in Switzerland, they were not treated very well. So it's about this journey. Limbo, he has a tragic life. It follows him from maybe early 20s until later in life. He has a wife, and then he has kids. He's searching for his kids. He gets separated from his wife and his kids, and he spends the whole movie searching for his kids. It's a tragic story, very very engrossing. Hopefully more people catch up with this movie, and because I thought it was excellent. Next is Out of Season, directed by Stéphane Breeze. I think this was in a competition at the Venice Film Festival as well. This is a very French relationship movie. There's infidelity, but it's treated like so what, and the two lead performances, Guillaume Canet and Alba Washwaisha, are excellent. It's intimate, it's nostalgic, it's romantic, and also it makes you think and make you think about your life and what could have been, and it's such a beautiful small movie. Next is The Zone of Interest. This is a film that debuted at the Cannes Film Festival. Besides towards the end of the movie, there's some experimental shots with like a children's story. But besides that would have been over my head a little bit. But besides that, I was absolutely intoxicated by this film. The sound design, the performances, the way it's constructed. The story, even though there's not much of a story, but the basic story is amazing. I love the way it was directed, and the dog. This is an experience you have to definitely see in cinema if you can. The Zone of Interest. Next is Cassandra, that debuted at the Sundance Film Festival, directed by Roger Ross Williams. This is a a story about a gay amateur wrestler in Mexico. It it followed his journey from before he was famous as like an amateur wrestler. He's trying to become more famous and better, and he connects with some Asians, and he becomes more and more popular. It's a wild journey. Definitely recommend checking out Cassandra. The lead performance by Gael Garcia Bernal is amazing. One of his best performances. Next is Dungeons and Dragons. Honor Among Thieves, and this is very funny to include this movie amongst all these festival movies, but this is probably the second most fun I had at the cinema. Like sometimes we forget we're supposed to have fun at the cinema, and this is there's another movie ahead in my list that's more I thought was more fun than this, but this is definitely the second most fun I had at the cinema this year. It came out earlier in the year, and nobody had any expectations about this movie, and directed by John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein. An amazing cast: Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Hugh Grant as the bad guy. He was amazing. It's funny, it's clever. It has about 4 or 5 different set pieces that are very well staged and directed, and doesn't go overboard with the CGI. I definitely recommend checking out Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves if you haven't checked it out. It's a lot of fun. Next is A1001, which debuted at the Sundance Film Festival, directed by A.V. Rockwell. The lead performance is one of the reasons to check this film out. Tayana Taylor. It follows her journey as she gets separated from her son, and she is trying to put her life back together and reconnect with her son, and she also has like a boyfriend as well, who she has like a on and off relationship with as well. It's a very authentic journey. It slowly reveals details about her throughout the movie that elevates the movie. It's not one of those cheap movies. I definitely recommend checking out 8001. Next is You Hurt My Feelings, directed by Nicole Holofcener. This also debuted at the Sundance Film Festival. Nicole, she directs movies about real people, real situations, like very small movies about simple situations that everybody deals with in everyday life, but she makes it feel real with such extremely well written characters. The performances, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, she's amazing in this movie. It's about a white lie about a wife who she says she doesn't like her husband's new novel, and she lies about it. And that's a very simple story, but she creates such a real movie out of this. So definitely recommend checking out You Hurt My Feelings. Next is Robot Dreams. This beautiful, delightful animated movie debuted at the Caine Film Festival, directed by Pablo Berger. It has no dialogue in the movie. It has some like signs in the background that are in English, so there's no subtitles. It's completely dialogue free. It's just just over 90 minutes of animation. It's the story: dog lives in Manhattan and is tired of being alone. One day he decides to build himself a robot. The relationship between the dog and the robot is so sweet. They get separated in the movie, and then the journey is about their separation and then coming back together. It's such a charming, beautiful movie. Definitely recommend checking out Robot Dreams. Next is The Universal Theory. This one debuted in competition at the Venice Film Festival, directed by Tim Kroger. This is a cross between like an Alfred Hitchcock movie and a David Lynch movie. This is kind of the movie that Hitchcock would be making if he was still alive today. Like it has that the characters and the music and the mystery, but also has a bit of a wild sci-fi component to it. I love the characters in this movie. I love the mood. The black and white cinematography is amazing. hopefully this film will connect with a lot of people. I definitely recommend checking out the Universal Theory. Next was Barbie. Okay, this was number one most fun I had at the cinema. So Dungeons and Dragons was number two. This is number one because sometimes you just want to have fun. You just want to turn your brain off and just have fun and laugh. And this movie, for me, it wasn't the most deepest movie I've ever seen, but I had a lot of fun with this. The performances, the cast, the production design. It was funny. It was well written. It was moving. It's just such an entertaining film that everybody's already seen, but yeah, definitely one of my favorites of 2023 and the most fun I had at the cinema. I saw it opening day, and it was such a blast to see at the cinema. Next is Hitman, directed by Richard Linklater. This is a clever, funny, with two amazing lead performances by Glenn Powell and Adria Arjona. Adria Arjona is not an actress who was not familiar with before this movie, but she gives a sexy and mysterious performance that she will become the main actress after this movie comes out. So this will be on Netflix in June. So hopefully you will check this movie out when it comes on Netflix in June. Hitman by Richard Linklater. Next is Rye Lane, directed by Rain Allen Miller, that debuted at the Sundance Film Festival. This is setting in south of London. It takes the romantic comedy genre and mixes it with like Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, those movies. It's kind of like a guy walking and another woman joining him, and then you follow on the journey. It's wild. The lead actress performance, Vivian Opera, she's charismatic and funny, and just completely, her personality is so different to the lead performance, but they bounce off each other. It's so funny and it's so funny and charming. I definitely recommend checking out Rye Lane. Next is Tatami. This one debuted at the Venice Film Festival, directed by Guy Nativ and Zamia Ibrahimi. Zamia is an actress who lately she's been everything she touches has turned to gold. She did another movie, Shayda, that debuted at Sundance. That's in my top 100. This movie is about a Iranian female judo. She's competing in the judo world championship, and her country is the government, Iranian government, and the sporting officials is trying to get her to quit because for some reason they don't want a female gold medalist. It just doesn't look good for the country. So it is a very personal, very political movie, and very enthralling. The judo matches are very well staged and very exciting. Tatami. Next is Memory. This debuted in competition at the Venice Film Festival, directed by Michel Franco with Jessica Chastain and Peter Sarsgaard. Peter Sarsgaard won the Best Actor award at Venice, and this performance by Peter is very different to the performances he usually does. He usually gives the other like smart ass or bad guy performances, but this one is very gentle and mysterious and very low key, and probably might be my favorite of his performances so far. Jessica is amazing. Not one of her best, but she's excellent in the film as well. It's about a social worker who goes to a high school reunion, and Peter's character is there, and she thinks that he sexually assaulted her when she was younger in high school, and she becomes traumatized. But later in the movie, they come together and their journey together. It's very moving and definitely worth checking out. Memory. Next is Red Rooms. directed by Pascal Plante. This is a Canadian movie that debuted at one of the horror movie festivals, I think Fantasia maybe, a few months ago. This has finally started to gain a cult following. Um, I still think there's more people that need to check out this movie. It's about serial killer groupies. They go to the court cases of serial killers, and they think these serial killers are not guilty, and they wait outside the court, and they protest for these killers. And the main character, she's mysterious. She's very introverted, but the way she lives and the environment that she set up and the life she lives is very interesting, and it's an excellent performance by Juliette Galipier. Yeah, definitely recommend checking out Red Rooms. It's exciting. It's one of the best movies I saw this year. Next is Fair Play. Fair Play debuted at the Sundance Film Festival, directed by Chloe Dumont. This one debuted on Netflix a few months ago. This is very much a 90s type financial erotic thriller. I don't really like calling it an erotic thriller, but it's a power thriller. It's the type of movie they don't really make anymore, a mid-budget thriller they used to make all the time. It uses themes of relationships and power and workplace power and sexual dynamics and power dynamics, and the performance is amazing. It's such an entertaining, exciting movie. Fair Play by Chloe Dumont. Next is The Beast, that debuted in competition at the Venice Film Festival, directed by Bertrand Bonello, starring Leah Seydoux and George McKay. This is to be honest, I didn't really understand most or maybe half of this movie. It's just the kind of movie where you have to just jump on and go with it. It's not a movie you'll completely understand, but if you're on the same wavelength as this movie, you will love it. It's such an intoxicating experience. It's set in three different time zones, and the two actors they play the same characters in the three different time zones. It's set like maybe in the 19th century, and then set in modern Los Angeles, and then another one set in the future. It's such a wild, crazy story, and hopefully you jump on its wavelength. The Beast. Next is Sharper, directed by Benjamin Courong. Now, I'm a big sucker for heist or movies, and also con movies, and they don't make many con movies anymore. And this one, I love the characters, the situations, the cons. Everybody's conning each other, and it wasn't predictable. I didn't know where it was going. I thought this is excellently well done. The performances are amazing. Julianne Moore, she had a great year. She did May, December, and Sharper, and great performances in both. Definitely recommend checking out Sharper. Next is Past Lives, debuted at the Sundance Film Festival. This is a movie that I didn't connect with as much as some people did, but I still really loved this movie, even though I didn't connect emotionally as much as I thought I would. But it goes back to a time when, like, Skype, talking on Skype and connecting at a distance, and nostalgia and past relationships, and what your life could have been, and the performances are amazing. I think everybody has probably already seen Past Lives, but if you haven't, definitely recommend. It's a beautiful movie. Next is Evil Dead Rise. I think maybe this is the only horror movie on my list. I think 2023 was not a great year for horror, but this I loved. Evil Dead Rise. I went to the cinema. I sat almost at the front by myself, and just the sound of the movie, that the opening scene at the lake is just crazy and wild. And then after that, the scenes in the apartment building is just so atmospheric and gory and scary, and you don't know what's going to happen. And then just the whole, like, by the end, it's just everybody's red and covered in blood, and I really had a great time with this movie. One of the best experiences at the cinema I had this year. Evil Dead Rise. Next is Milli Vanilli. I think it's his debut at the Tribeca Film Festival, I think. This is a documentary directed by Luc Correm. This about Milli Vanilli, the group, the two guys who were very famous in the early 90s, late 80s, I think. They were not using their own voice on the hits. Someone else was using their voice on the hits. I think everybody knows who Milli Vanilli is by now, but I think the documentary does an amazing job. Because Fabrice is still alive, and it follows his journey, what he's doing now, and his family, and such a personal journey, and so heartbreaking. I really loved Milli Vanilli, one of the best documentaries of the year. Next is The Color Purple, directed by Blitz Buzzer Wu. I've never seen the Steven Spielberg movie, and I've never seen the Broadway play, so this is my first experience with this story, and I was enthralled. The music was amazing. The choreography of the dancing, the mix of like the setting to swamp and beach and the wooden houses and the musical numbers together was just amazing. The performances amazing, excellent, and the story just grows and grows and grows and becomes so emotional and powerful. Yeah, I love the color purple. Next is Godzilla -1, directed by Takashi Yamazaki. Now this is, if you would have told me at the end of the bit like this time last year that a Godzilla movie would be in my top 10 of the year, I'll be telling you you're crazy, because I've never been a huge fan of Godzilla, but this film just it's just everything you want in a Godzilla movie. It's the Godzilla is scary, and the special effects are amazing, and the characters in the movie just so well done, and the cast is amazing. It's emotional, it's exciting. If you haven't checked out Godzilla -1, I definitely recommend checking out that movie. Next is Perfect Days, debuted in competition at the Caine Film Festival, directed by Wim Wenders. It's probably one of the best movies that Wim Wenders has done for a long time. Koshi Yakusho, one of my favorite Japanese actors, he won Best Actor at Caine. This just a very simple story. It's just this Yakusho plays a toilet cleaner. He just follows his life in Tokyo as he's cleaning toilets. All of the different characters he interacts with, and as the movie goes on, you find out a little bit details about his movie, and he slowly starts to, because most of the movie he doesn't talk, but slowly as the movie goes on, he starts to talk, and you follow. You get to learn more about his life. It's such a beautiful story, and I highly recommend checking out Perfect Days. Next is The Delinquents. This one debuted at the Cannes Film Festival. As I said before, I'm a big sucker for heist movies, and not many heist movies show or focus on the aftermath of the heist. So these people that stole money or they got caught, but what happened after? What happens after the heist? And this movie spends most of the time. These two characters, they work at a bank. They're bank employees, and it just shows that one of the employees, it was his idea to steal the money, and the other employee wasn't really enthusiastic about the idea. So it just follows that journey, because after they steal the money, they get away with it, basically get away with it, but that follows that journey separately as they try to live a life after the heist. It's such a wild journey. It's a slow movie, but such a wild ride. So hopefully you check out The Delinquents. Next is The Goldman Case, directed by Cedric Caine. This one debuted at the Cannes Film Festival. This one is set in 1976 in France about the political activist Pierre Goldman. This is probably the funniest court, like set in a courtroom drama, the funniest courtroom drama I've ever seen. Like the character Pierre Goldman, he's wild, he's funny, interesting, played by Arthur Harari. The way it's staged in the court is so well done, so well written. I definitely recommend checking out Goldman. It was my number 4 movie of the year. So my number three movie, almost there. Number 3 movie of the year was Anatomy of a Fall, which debuted at the Cannes Film Festival in competition, and it won the Palme d'Or. I think everybody's probably seen this movie already, but this is such a exciting, thrilling courtroom drama that follows the characters before the case and after the case. You just never know what's really going on. You never know. It just gives you small little details about the characters as the movie goes on, and you never really know what's true and what's not. And the performances are amazing. Sandra Hula, probably her best performance ever. Anatomy of a Fall, my number 3 movie of the year. My number 2 movie of the year was Four Daughters. This documentary debuted at the Cannes Film Festival, directed by Carthor Ben Harari. Now, this movie is just such an emotional journey. It's such real people about this mother who she's trying to raise her kids in Tunisia by herself, and they're young and teenagers, and she's trying to protect them from men and from the world. And she's raw. She doesn't make any apologies about her actions and her past, and such a raw emotional journey, such an amazing story. I really love this movie. Four Daughters. Next, my number 1 movie of the year. It was a documentary. My number 1 movie of the year was Beyond Utopia. This debuted at the Sundance Film Festival. I saw it in January 2023, and it stayed at my number 1 movie all year. I just love the journey that the family goes on. It's just so thrilling and exciting, and just leaves you on the edge of your seat the whole movie. Directed by Madeleine Gavin. It shows you the culture in Korea, South Korea and North Korea, the things that people have to deal with, and the experiences that people are having now and in the past, and just such an emotional. By the end of the movie, you'll just be like gone, and you need some time. But yes, I saw Beyond Utopia in January, and it's remained my number 1 movie all year. So that's my top 50 movies of the year. I actually had a top 90 movies of the year. 90 movies that I thought were great and must-see movies. So I'll put my top 51 to 90 in the comment section. So have a look at that. And there's one omission I will talk about, and that is I'm a big fan of Christopher Nolan, but Oppenheimer I just didn't connect with. I really want to have another chance to watch it, but I was really disappointed by it. But I respect that other people love that movie, and it's one of their favorites, or maybe their favorite movie of the year. So hopefully I'll get a chance to check out Oppenheimer soon. But I just really didn't connect with it. I am a big fan of Nolan, but if you're wondering why it's not on my list, hopefully I will like it the next time I see it. So that's my top 50 favorite movies of 2023.